Coach Tracy with MeatRx. I'm here with another great success story with my friend Chris. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Thank you for coming to our show today to tell everyone about your success on the carnivore diet. And can we begin by finding out what kind of diet were you on and what kind of health conditions you had prior to coming to a meat-based diet?
Yes. Well, I had always struggled with my weight my whole life. I kind of did the yo-yo dieting thing where I balloon up, drop down, balloon up, and drop down. And it was during nursing school, I started going to the gym and I started juicing. And I was doing tons of kale, broccoli, and spinach. And I lost a lot of weight and I felt really great. And then one day in the gym, I was going 4 days a week, and I noticed I didn't have the strength. I was doing some bench presses, and I just sat up and I just sat there, and I was like, oh my God, I can't finish all my sets because I'm just so tired. I just can't get that bar up. And the more I thought about it, I thought, well, maybe I'm just overdoing it, going 4 days a week. So I dropped it down to 2 days a week, then 1 day a week, and then I just stopped going altogether. And I started getting really terrible brain fog. And I'm a nurse, and at the time I was working as a corrections nurse in a prison. And it started getting scary how bad the brain fog was, because working at a prison, it can be a lot like working in an emergency room. You can get people with orbital fractures from like a lock in the sock hitting them in the head. You can get stab wounds. We had a lot of drug overdoses. And there would be times when I would just stand there and be like, and just didn't know what to do. And then somebody would say something, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I need to do that. And I would go and do it. Also, the joint pain and the muscle pain started getting really bad, to where just getting in and out of my car hurt. My knees would just hurt, and so eventually it just got to where I was exhausted and just couldn't think. And I am a former smoker, but at that time I started smoking because, of course, I started getting depressed. And in the morning, I would sit in my garage, drink a pot of coffee, and chain smoke, just worrying about going to work and hoping I could make it through the day. And then I would get home and I'd just plant my butt in front of the TV and just trying to recuperate from the day and just how exhausted I was. And I was becoming pre-diabetic too. I had some blood sugars in the 150s. It was just terrible. And the way I learned about the carnivore diet, I was sitting in the garage chain smoking and drinking coffee. And Jordan Peterson was being interviewed by Joe Rogan. And he had mentioned that how his daughter had health issues and went on the carnivore diet. And, that just got me interested. I was like, oh, shoot, And then I seen he had interviewed her. And I was like, oh, I'm going to check this out. And she talked about all her health ailments and everything. And just something in me was like, I've got nothing to lose. I might as well give it a try. If it helped her, maybe it can help me.
Yeah. So what kind of
go ahead,
diet,
I'm sorry.
What kind of diet were you eating prior to finding out?
Yeah, prior it was the juicing, mostly vegetables. It wasn't totally vegetarian. And I would do it. I like The Rock too, and he says he does a cheat meal or a cheat day 1 day a week, and so I was doing a cheat day 1 day a week too, because I wanted to get buff like him.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to get buff like ShawnBaker, but but so I would have 1 day of chips and pizza and stuff, but for the most part, 6 days a week, tons of vegetables, a little bit of meat, a little bit of chicken, eggs and stuff, but just lots of vegetables, lots of leafy green.
Yeah, I did a lot of juicing in my time too, so I understand. And all that pulp, what'd you do with all your pulp?
Well, the vegetable pulp I threw away, but I was also juicing berries too. And I thought, well, instead of wasting the pulp, I would mix it in with some oatmeal.
Okay. That's always a dilemma with juicing with all the pulp. But I'm
pretty cheap. So when I was like, well, what can I do with this instead of just throwing it away? And so the berries I would save.
Okay. So you decided to change your total way of eating when you heard about Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, actually, it gave me a little bit of hope, and that hope gave me enough energy to where I had a blog I was doing just about personal stuff, and I thought, well, let's make it like an experiment. And so I did the measurements, I did the before picture and everything, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this for real and see if it works. And I was actually super restrictive to where I only did beef. I didn't do any cheese or any eggs, just beef and salt and water. I was like, I'm going to do this right because I don't want to sabotage myself and get too lazy with it. And like most other people, I had the issue with diarrhea, and I got on the World Carnivore Tribe. And I was looking at that time. I was just like deep diving into it, and I discovered, Dr. Baker and his interview with Joe Rogan, and so I went on the World Carnivore Tribe, and somebody suggested I was eating too much tallow, and I did notice after I ate a ribeye, I had to go.
Yeah.
So I cut back on that, and that helped a lot.
So how long did you just do meat and water?
For the full 30 days.
Oh.
Yep, I was like, I'm doing it, and recorded it on my blog, and did the full 30 days. And I love cheese, and so shortly after the 30 days, I reintroduced cheese, and now I do pepper and hot sauce along with meat, cheese, and eggs. And I have some organ meats I eat too. I'll do liver and kidneys.
Wow, that sounds great. So you've implemented it, and how did your conditions change after that?
Well, immediately the joint pain and the muscle pain went away, and I did start getting a lot more energy. Now I'm working out again. The brain fog lifted, thankfully. I still have some cognitive issues. It's not brain fog, but I've noticed I don't pull information up as quickly as I used to. But thankfully, I still feel like I'm healing. One of the issues that I've had my whole life is terrible seasonal allergies. And this fall is the first fall in as long as I can remember where they're hardly bothering me at all. And just last fall, they were killing me. And so I'm like, I think I'm still healing. It's been a little over 2 years, and the carnivore diet's still healing me.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So was
and then the eyebrows. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Oh, and the eyebrow story. Yep. I gotta throw that in there. The eyebrow story. One of the symptoms was losing my eyebrows. At work one day, a person said to me, do you shave your eyebrows? Because my eyebrows, after a while, they just fell right out. And I'm like, no, I don't know what's going on with me. And they've grown back. I've got eyebrows now.
Oh,
They're still a little thick here, but yeah, that was just so embarrassing.
So they grew back. That's amazing. That's really cool. And you think it's possibly related to thyroid, but you weren't sure or didn't get diagnosed for that?
Right. Yep. In June, or no, I'm sorry, not June. In February 2018, I went and got labs done, and my TSH was right in the middle. It was two point something. In fact, I think I got it right here. No, where are you? I printed it all off because I'm old school that way. Yeah, the thyroid was 2.4085, and the normal range is 0.35 to 4.94. So, I had all the symptoms for hypothyroidism, but my TSH was right in the middle. And I've had people tell me that there are more tests they can do, that your TSH isn't 100% accurate. So I suspect it was, but I can't verify it. It's undiagnosed.
Okay, so how did your eating go for you since you've been a carnivore for 2 years, and you said the first 30 days was meat and water? Did you progress and do different things? Did you try experimenting different ways between the first month and the 2 years?
Yeah, the first month, everybody said when you're hungry, eat. And I did have that whole, I guess, the carbohydrate addiction to where it just seemed like you couldn't eat enough. You're just craving, craving, craving. But then it slowly went to one meal a day. And when I finally felt fit enough to go back to the gym, I bumped it up to 2 meals a day to try to gain some mass. But then when COVID hit and the gyms closed, I just naturally went back down to one meal a day. And now I do some exercising at home, but I'm not hitting it as hard as I used to at the gym.
Oh, yeah.
But
So
yeah, one meal a day now.
1 meal a day. Okay. And so a typical day, what would you eat in one meal?
I'll eat, liver one day a week, kidney one day a week. And then from there, if I make hamburger, I'll throw in a few egg yolks in there. I fry up the egg whites and give them to my dog.
Oh.
I'll make some bacon maybe. Today I had a ribeye and some stew meat. We'll get a cow. We'll buy like half a cow or something, throw it in the freezer, and there's my groceries for about 6 months, And I'll just pull some meat out, thaw it out, and I might have a roast or something. Mostly beef still, but now I throw in some bacon because it's just tasty, and a couple pieces of cheese, and maybe throw in some egg yolk.
Awesome. So have you influenced anyone else to be carnivore?
Not yet. I'm trying.
Yeah.
My wife tried it a few times, but she's never been a big meat eater, so she never really stuck with it. And like I said earlier, my son thinks I'm crazy. I do have a few people I work with. When you contacted me about sharing my story, I told some people at work, and one lady I told, she's like, "Wow, I have to consider that." And I told my pastor about it, and he's considering it now too. So possibly 2 people might want to try it.
Wow, that's awesome. So they'll get to watch your video and hear your interview. So that'll be cool. So if somebody was wanting to try carnivore, but they just really couldn't decide whether to do it or not, what would your advice be?
Well, what I had said to the people I talked to is I greatly stressed reading the success stories on MeatRx. For me, they're just so motivational. I get a little jealous at times because you'll get somebody who weighed 500 pounds and now they got a 6-pack and all their health issues went away. And I'm like, I wish that was me. I wish I had a 6-pack and all my health issues magically went away. But, truthfully, I'm so much healthier now. I'm happy, with it. But it's very inspirational. You read it and you see all the improvement. And it's like, wow, if that works for them, maybe it'll work for me.
Right. That's why we like doing these success stories, because people from everywhere are doing it. I mean, all over the world, even in different states, countries, nationalities, it doesn't matter, ages, older, younger. And that's one of the things with the younger ones. Sometimes the younger ones, they're quicker to heal and they're quicker to gain strength and everything. And that just sounds, that's just normal for them because they're young. Yeah. But it's just so inspirational, and I appreciate you coming to tell your story. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Well, I guess from what you just said, I wish this was something I was aware of when I was younger. I would have been so much more healthy. I think my quality of life would have improved. And I'm so thankful now that this relevant information is able to get out there and people are willing to access it. I was so blinded by the status quo, the official diet. I remember quite a few times thinking to myself, well, I'm doing everything right. What is wrong? What am I doing wrong here? I'm eating kale, I'm eating broccoli, I'm eating spinach, I'm juicing. Everybody says juicing is great. Doing everything right. And what is going on? And I had no clue that I was doing everything wrong.
Yeah, I think we were lied to about the vegetables, They say
Yeah.
it's the healthiest food to eat, but it's not.
No, no, and I'm so thankful that the information's getting out now, and hopefully a lot more people will learn that. I remember my grandparents telling me how when they were young, what they were taught was a very protein and fat heavy diet, and to stay away from starches like breads and potatoes, and that was how you're supposed to be healthy. And they're still alive. My grandfather's in his 90s, and I believe my grandmother is turning 90 this year. And they would save their bacon grease and fry eggs with it. And I remember seeing that and thinking, well, something's not right here because they should be dropping dead of a heart attack by now, frying eggs and bacon grease, all that cholesterol. But they're in their 90s and they're doing that.
Yeah, yum.
Yeah. And it's
They
delicious too.
yeah, it is. It's delicious. My mom did that too, and I was raised that way, so I know what you're saying, and it's really cool that those people knew, but we didn't, But now we get to know. I mean, it's really good that we are learning about it. The most nutrient dense food being meat. So thank you.
Amen, sister.
Thanks so much, Chris, for your time and sharing your story. I think it'll help many people. And so you're 2 years carnivore, over 2 years carnivore, and you think you'll just continue on this way for the remaining of your life?
Oh, yes, definitely. I have no desire at all to go back to, I mean, yeah, sure, I miss pizza, but having that momentary pleasure of pizza compared to all the pain and brain fog and problems I had, no way. I would
Yeah.
never trade it in a million years. And I want to thank you. I am so thrilled and excited. You really blessed me asking me to share my story. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you too for coming. I hope to see you again around the community.
You definitely will.
Okay, good.
Definitely will.
Have a good night.
Well, thanks. You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.